money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money, money making money, manifest, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. I ain't stressed, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making money moves. Jewelry in the safe, piggy bank on full. And I'm living life abundant. I'm making money fast. I'm a money making magnet, making cold hard cash. I'm making money.
Let me respond to this, sister. It'll be brief. Everything I'm saying, I'm making brief as possible. And I'm glad you brought up New York. Let's talk about it. While we was discussing the Quran and the Bible, literally our communities were being taken over by foreigners. If you go to New York today, there's not one majority Black American community left. Even right now, and I'm including myself, we're speaking about a book, the Bible, that is decreasing in popularity amongst not just our people, amongst all Americans, regardless of race. So that's why I'm getting back to my focal point, the initial statement that I made. While we are lost in mythology, tangibly our communities are being taken over
Hang on, brother.
by
I want to say something
foreigners.
to him.
Okay,
I
who
want
wants
to.
to go?
I want to say this. I want to say this to the brother really quickly, Monica, please. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I actually feel that too. You're absolutely right, but I want you to understand that everything is absolutely necessary. Why are people discussing religion and myths at a time where something like that is going on? It's because so many people hold to this as true that they allow this stuff to go on right under their nose, believing that it's either a prophecy or believing that Jesus is just going to one day going to come back, so there's no need to fight. And so there has to be a certain people dedicated to working that, speaking out about that, waking people up, so you can have more soldiers dedicated to the mission of working together and doing something practical to get out of the situation. I'll tell you a short story. This man, right? It's two axemen, okay, two men chopping down trees. One of them is watching the other as he always produces more trees every day than him. And he wonders, why does this guy produce more trees than me every day? And so he dedicates his time to not going on break. I'm not going to go on break. I promise you, I'm going to get more trees cut down than him tomorrow. He still fails. He comes in and works on 10 all day. He doesn't slow down at all. He still fails. Finally, he walks over to this guy after all these days of failing to put out more work than him. And he says, why is it that you still take breaks, come in on time, leave on time? I come in before you, don't take any breaks, and you still take breaks and chop down more than me. He said, because I'm sharpening my axe. See, while you are spending time hitting this tree several times to chop it down, it's taking me less swipes because I'm taking the time to sharpen my axe. Sometimes you have to take the time to sharpen your mind. It's almost like saying, hey, why are you on break when this tree, why are you over here sharpening your axe when this tree is chopped down? Because I'm going to get more chopped down by sharpening my axe. Most of these people, most like religion wouldn't be reducing in popularity if there wasn't people dedicated to doing it. Imagine going to a foot doctor saying, hey, why are you working on people's feet when there's cancer out there? Well, people have foot issues. Because this is an issue, we have to deal with it, man, because religion is a horrible religare, a horrible tool. So you got to deal with it. I wish we could come together in spite of what we believe in, but unfortunately, religion is so divisive that you can't. A Christian will refuse to work with you solely based on your paradigm. This can't be a way that we operate if we're going to get free.
Right.
So what should we do? Free them of that paradigm by any means necessary. We watch them give their monies every week to a myth. We got to talk about it because that's what's keeping them in debt. You understand? Because these things have to be talked about.
And let me ask you a question, and I'll make this my final question. And thank you all for having me up. I'm gonna drop down after I ask this question. All right. What do you think is more conducive to the unification of our ethnicity? Disparaging, or even if you don't agree with the word disparaging, what's more conducive to the unification of our ethnicity? Pointing out the flaws in the particular faith of certain members of our community, or highlighting the things that we have in common and the common pardon me, the common initiatives that are mutually beneficial to us. Or in other words, if I disrespect Islam and if I disrespect the Hebrew Israelites, or just point out the flaws in that religion that they might find disrespectful, do you think that's conducive to the unity between me and Hebrew Israelites and Muslims?
No, I think that it can cause a lot of discourse. I do, but you only gave a couple of choices. Let me add one to the multiple choice.
Yeah.
Is it more conducive to break down barriers? Because that's what we're doing, and to do that, sometimes you have to say something that may be taken as offensive. One man said, "There is no polite way to tell someone they've devoted their entire life to a folly." And this is a powerful quote. I actually live by this quote because I was once told Jesus wasn't real and it destroyed my world, but it needed to be destroyed. See, I was talking about Judas earlier, and Judas is seen as a character who is evil because he betrayed Jesus. But Jesus was not going to take himself to the Pharisees to be sacrificed. He was hiding. So you need someone to do what must be done. So Jesus has to be. Hang on, let me make my point. Jesus has to be sacrificed, and so who's going to do the tough thing? So if you're talking about Judas as related to Scorpio, you might say Scorpio is a deceiver. Judas was. But here's the kicker. Everyone sometimes has to be that person to give somebody a hard truth and play a villain in their life, because it's going to cause them to resurrect, to become someone new. And most of you can say in life there was somebody who hurt you that caused something to happen in you, and it was for the good. And so Judas plays a part. And so if you're talking about this, I have to be Judas sometimes. I have to hurt you. I have to
Lord, come on, preach. Come on, preach.
I can't sit here and follow you and say, hey, everybody's belief is true, and if you believe in it. Now, I do that, but if we're talking about the truth, and the title of this video is, all the Israelites are historical people. I can't sugarcoat that. I have to be honest. No, because Abraham didn't exist. Now, that might be offensive, but I can't sugarcoat that because we have people who suffer from identity crisis, man. And
let's go point for point, though. Let's go point for point, and that's why you see everything I said.
I'm going to drop down, brother. That you said that was your
everything.
Last...
I try to make everything as brief as possible.
I don't want to divert from the message too much either, so let's wrap that up so we can continue.
Exactly.
This is not a debate.
Oh,
we are here to build and not debate.
Let's build point for point, though.
All right. So, but point for point is a debate, sir.
If you would like, shouldn't do
listen,
this.
If you would like.
All right, well, I'll say this one sentence, and thanks for having me up. Listen, literally, I can prove what you just said was false. Listen, these same religions that you're debating against today, how long have people been debating against the same religions? Decades.
Didn't you just say they're reducing in popularity?
Right.
And they're still debating, and you're still debating them.
So you just killed yourself.
But they're reducing in popularity, so therefore there must be something.
It's like if I'm chopping the tree that's coming down, you're saying, so what damage are you doing? The tree's coming down. So all these years you've been chopping this tree. Okay, yeah, it's coming down. What are you doing? What's the point then? It's eventually going to come down.
How fast do you want it to come down, brother? You just
Well, the point is, listen to what I'm saying. It's not like they left Christianity and became Ifa. Checkmate.
No, it don't matter when they become Ifa. They don't have to become Ifa. They don't have to become Ifa.
It's about having the right to choose.
That's my point, though.
The right to choose what resonates with them, brother.
No, you're not listening. No, you're not listening.
No, you're not listening.
Well, I'll mute up and let you talk. Then let me talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you said you was going to dip out.
I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to teach now.
You're not a teacher here.
But we can turn it up.
This is your show.
I'm trying to edify you.
How about you hit up Monica and you can
we can definitely come back and have a build about immigration and all those types of things that you want to.
Yeah, but you're being sensitive now.
No, you're off topic. You're
being sensitive because you don't like this headlock I got you in.
There is a title to this conversation, and you are.
And I got you on the headlock on the title.
You're not.
I got you in the headlock right now.
Okay, if you want to stroke your own ego with your.
I got you in the headlock right now.
You sound like you're manipulating.
Okay, let me stop.
You sound like a sassy redbone.
Okay, let me stop.
Eject this Negro.
You're a dark skinned.
Thank you.
Listen. I'm trying to give him a chance.
Let's not take any time. Let's not take any time dealing with him. Let's just continue with the lesson.
Yeah.
I tried to give him a chance.
Much less two wives.
Let's show how we are intellectuals and how we don't get swayed from a topic that easily, right?
Yeah.
So where were we?
All right. So we were talking about. Go ahead, you guys.
Go ahead, sis.
No.
I got distracted by home.
Okay, I think we were somewhere talking about kind of like motifs, and we went from showing the Virgo as it had the foot on the sun. I think you had showed us Columbia pictures, and then you showed us the Statue of Liberty and its crowns as well.
Right, and then we got into the fact that all those motifs in Hollywood and all these different things really are in our faces in society, and we have no idea what they really mean and how they're like structuring our thoughts and things like that, because you have like these people in Hollywood that are Hasidic Jews, this, right, that, the other, and they believe a certain thing, and then they'll put these symbols into this thing, and those things mean something. So
wow, okay, I got it. I was in the middle of talking about if you believe the Bible is literal, and I was right there talking about David putting Uriah on the front line because Uriah had been messing around with Bathsheba, right? And so here's what David did. He summons Uriah to come back from war because he had been messing with Bathsheba, right? And so he wants Uriah to go sleep with his wife so he can pin the baby on her. This is this deceitful thing that David is doing that God would know David's going to do prior to even electing David to be the chosen one, right? So when Uriah didn't do it, he put Uriah on the front line. And so he had Uriah killed at war. So what happens is God comes back to David ticked off. Listen, man, I gave you all of Samuel's wives. Why did you have to go take another man's wife? So this is what God tells him. Because you took another man's wife, I'm going to have another man lay with all of your wives in front of the entire city. Now, ask yourself in this question, are you just reading the Bible, or are you reading it and thinking, like the brother said earlier, are you noticing all these people dying? He would come in great right here, because this is the time for that. Did you guys look at that and ask yourself, why was it okay for God to have Anan, David's son, sleep with his wives? Why is that okay? What did his wives do?
Can I respond to that real quick? There's a scripture that says that God hateth an unjust balance, that he loveth an equal balance. I can't remember how that scripture is, but so anyway, if you commit a sin, then that will be returned unto you, not only in equal measure, but 1,000-fold.
Right.
You understand? Especially if you know what you're doing is wrong.
Now, so here's the brilliant part to this, brother. So if you're reading this literally, right, and God chooses to have all of your wives essentially raped by your own son in front of the whole city because you done something deceitful, that would be completely unfair for God to do, right?
Right, and it would put a sin upon my son's head.
Absolutely. And God is who commanded this, right? And the wives committed adultery on me for sleeping with my son, right?
Right. Yeah, that's man.
Here's what you're reading. You're reading the harsh nature of reality, the divine truth. Here's what happens, guys. If I walk across the street without looking, I could lose my life. Did I deserve that? It's what happened, yo.
No.
Without looking.
Right, so you're looking at,
and that's Darwin.
This is alchemical right here. It's literally defining God as karma. So there's a result to everything.
Yes.
So is God mean, or is the world just natural? Think about this, guys.
We're bringing this stuff upon ourselves.
Absolutely.
So stupidity upon ourselves, and then blaming on God.
Right. So again, if you're reading the Bible as God is mean, look at what happened here. No, this is a story to show you. Again, take the story of the man, the bald man, okay? And the children mocking him. Yeah. Hey, Baldy, look at your head. Your hairline on somebody else's head. I just imagine one of them would say that, right? It's crazy. Nair Jordan. And so the prophet summons bears out of the woods, and they come out and rip these children to shreds, right?
Right.
Okay,
that
is
was
this
what
literal?
you wish would have happened.
Right, do you believe this really happened and really happened? Or are we looking at the nature of karma? That it ain't
there was a bear
equal.
in astrological too. There's a bear in astrology that we don't talk about. Yeah, so that might not have been a literal. I think that
So
it's not.
here's the thing: is that when we talk about this God of the Bible, right? You see so many times where it's like this person didn't do this small thing, and like he killed 1 million people, like based on that little. Okay, well, I told you to do this, you didn't do that. You didn't eat 12 fruit instead of 3, whatever. Kill all your offspring.
Hey, Monica, do me a favor,
Yo,
Monica.
look at Phineas. Phineas, certain people in Israel were sinning against God, and they were worshiping idols, and they were worshiping the idols of some of the women that they had married in some of those warfares, right? And so God told them to kill. There was a large number, probably was a 30,000 type number, like you was just saying, Kevin, right? So Phineas turns around, takes his javelin, runs up to an Israelite man and a Midianite Ethiopian woman, and we don't even know if they even sinned themselves. He chucks the spear at them, and it kills the two of them, like the twins, and that ends his wrath against Israel.
But hold on, even worse. Go break down the story of Job and how crazy that is.
I got you, but I want to show you something real quick, Monica. Pull up 2 Kings, okay? 2 Kings 2:23. I want to show you something real quick because I was speaking about the bears and how it relates to karma and how this is all these things are astrological, not literal, okay? They're for a greater understanding, just as I told him the allegory about the two axemen, right? These stories in the Bible are also given with the same principle, and they do edify, especially if you understand that they're allegorical. You see? But I'm going to show you something here that's going to be powerful to you. I think this will bring a lot of what we've been talking about tonight home. And like I said, every story that you read in the Bible is going to do this. So 2 Kings 2:23, pull it up whenever you have it. Okay, here we go. And he went up from thence to Bethel. Okay, he went up from thence to Bethel, and he was going up by the way. There came forth little children out of the city and mocked him and said to him, Go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears, like 2 straps around Samson's, what's the name, 2 pillars. There comes 2 she-bears out of the wood and tear 42 of the children, which is 6 right there, of them. Why not 43? And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. This story is simply showing you this is the son, because they're telling you there was 6 right here. They're putting this here because for a reason, not that it was literally happening. Every story will have this, guys, a multiple of 3, the number 2, 7, or 8, because 8 is the number of infinity, of course.
Yes.
If you look up the Hebraic and numerological meanings for Yahweh and Yeshua, they both are 8 because they are
infinite.
Yeah, infinite, absolutely. The
end.
Ouroboros or the the Ouroboros.
Can. Yes, sir. Man. And Phineas, the javelin, that's just like Sagittarius. And
Hey, pull that story up real quick.
Yeah, Phineas and Phineas's javelin.
But meanwhile, while I'm bringing it up, I want you to talk about the whole thing about Job and how that whole thing is wild to like actually, when you actually put it all together, it's like, what? So God.
Okay, so God is good all the time. Think about this. Job, his greatest servant, okay? Imagine this, his greatest servant. Because he's his greatest servant, not because he did anything bad. He's allowed to be tested for the sake of proving something to Satan. Now, this is God knowing everything before it happens, still willing to bet someone on something. So just imagine this. At the end of days, Job talks to God. Hey, God, why did I go through that? Why did my children have to die? I think it was 7 children that had to die. Why, God? And God says, well, so I can prove something to Satan. What type of sense does that make? And we live in a world where we say everything happens for a divine reason. God does everything for a reason. God's literal reason for doing this was to prove that Job would not turn on him, that Job would not give up on his faith.
Right, he gambled on him. That's gambling.
Right. Now think about this. Imagine Job sitting here talking about God saying, how about God gave me 7 new children and tried to act like he gave me double for my trouble when I still got 7 dead kids that I'll never
He's
see.
still mad as hell about them children that he lost.
So if you read the Bible without thinking, you're thinking that, oh, so Job got everything back. It's all good. It's not all good.
Not all good. It's not all good. I got that scripture up, sis. If you share it, it's Numbers, I think 25 verses 6 to 8. So yeah, let's read that. So it says, just then an Israelite man brought to his family a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and the whole congregation. Now remember, the Midianites, Moses told that Moses was married to a Midianite woman. Right? Zipporah was a Midianite woman, Ethiopian, right? Congregation of Israel, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. On seeing this, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, got up from the assembly, took a spear in his hand, followed the Israelite into his tent, and drove the spear through both of them, through the Israelite and through the belly of the woman. They even named them after this verse. So the plague against Israelites was halted. The plague came because they started worshiping the gods of other people. Now the Midianites that were with the Israelites were worshiping the same God.
Mm-hmm.
So this man who brought a Midianite woman into his tent, that there's no evidence here that either of them were worshiping or violating any laws. They just were a perfect sacrifice. Innocents were sacrificed to stop the plague.
I want to see the broader part of that story, though. Can we see it before that and after?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go there. Let's go there. So 25. Let me minimize this. Let me see the whole chapter. Numbers 25. Because this is interesting. Here we go. Moab's, and that's a Moabite. Okay, so yeah. So it wasn't even a Midianite that had anything to do with this curse that was brought on Israel. It was a Moabitess. So watch this. So this is why I know that the Midianite woman didn't have nothing to do with the price of a can of beans in Bosra. Moabite seduces Israel. 25. Hold on, let me. You got it up, sis?
See if you can make that enlarge that.
Yeah, I'm gonna enlarge it. Okay. How's that?
Great.
While Israel was staying in Shittim, pause, the men began to indulge in sexual immorality with the Moabite women, who invited them to sacrifices to their gods. The people ate the sacrificial meal and bowed down before these gods. So Israel yoked themselves to the Baal of Peor. Wait, there's more than one Baal? This is the Baal of Peor. And the Lord's anger burned against them. 4. The Lord said unto Moses, take all the leaders of these people, kill them, and expose them in broad daylight before the Lord, so that the Lord's fierce anger may turn away from Israel. So Moses said unto Israel's judges, each of you must put to death those of your people who have yoked themselves to Baal of Peor. Right? The Moabites, right? Then the Israelite man brought into the camp a Midianite woman. Wait, she's not Moabite. She's the Midianite who went with Moses and Jethro. right before the eyes of Moses and the whole assembly of Israel, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw this, he left the assembly, took a spear in his hand, and followed the Israelite into the tent. Maybe he was trying to hide his Midianite woman because he knew that, Moabites were about to get slain and she might have been accused. But whatever. He drove the spear into both of them, right through the Israelite man and into the woman's stomach. Then plague the womb, right? Into the woman's womb. Then the plague against Israel was stopped. But those who died in the plague were number 24.
Right. And that's where I was going to stop. Look, that's where I was going to stop you right there. Now, why 24,000?
Why 24,000? Because this ain't literal.
And look, notice that's verse 9.
Oh my God. Yo, you got to do the correlation between Isaiah 11 and Revelation 11.
Pull it up.
Oh man. Isaiah 11 with the two hands, and then Revelation 11 with the two witnesses. And that all corresponds to Zechariah 4 with the two olive trees and the two. Oh man, you want me to pull it up for sure? Sure, you want me to put it up? Because this is going to open up a whole nother. Okay, so let me see. Isaiah 11 verses 10 through 11. Let me see. 11 verse. Keep doing that by accident. Verse 10 through 12, right? Now we're going to go to Revelation. We'll see that. These two witnesses. So here, 10. In that day, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner. Hold on, let me share that. I got to unshare this. Bring this up. It's interesting stuff, man. And you have great points. I agree with you 100% with the astrology and the symbolism. I do think that some of
but
these
I think this is the funniest part though. When he breaks this down, man, I believe this could be like a whole thing. It's funny shit.
Oh, this is a whole nother lesson right here. Yeah.
We need to do like funny shit in the Bible. We need to do a whole like funny shit in the Bible. Part 1. What the fuck is this about? Come on now.
Right. So here we go right here, right? So in the day that the root of Jesse, verse 10, in the day that the root of Jesse.
Zoom in. So here, go read it. Zoom in.
Okay. So in that day, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the peoples, the nation. This is in Isaiah. So a lot of people think that Isaiah didn't have nothing to do with the prophecies, but we know that what was his name? The Ethiopian eunuch, he was reading Isaiah, and it was I forget who told him that this was related to Christ, right? So anyway, the nations will rally around him. His resting place will be glorious. That's grace. In the day, in 11, in that day, the Lord will reach out his hand a second time to reclaim the surviving remnant of his people from Assyria, from Lower Egypt, from Upper Egypt, from Cush, Ethiopia, from Elam, from Babylon, right? And from Hamath, and from the islands of the Mediterranean. He will rise up a banner for the nations. That's an ensign. And to gather the exiles of Israel, he will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four quarters of the earth. Now let's go to Revelation, right? Revelation. Wait, let's go to Zechariah. Let's go to Revelation. Revelation 11.
Here's where it gets good.
Yep.
I love the astrotheological side of it.
Right. Here we go. Here I'm gonna go to 3, right? So 11 verses 3, and I will appoint.
No, hang on.
You want me to go to 1?
Hang on. You hang on 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's start in 2.
Starting 2. Okay. But exclude the outer court. Do not measure it, because it was given to the Gentiles. They will trample on the holy city for 42 months.
How many months?
It's your math. 42. That's 6.
Okay, continue.
Right? And I will appoint my 2 witnesses.
Two witnesses, right? 2.
Two, there we go, right? Like the two hands, right? I will set my hand a second time in Isaiah 11. Prophesy for 1,260 days.
How many days?
1,260 score, right? 30
So that's
score.
1
right?
plus 2 plus 6, which is 9, right?
Come on. And,
Okay,
and
keep going.
they are the two olive trees
Two.
and the two lampstands. And they stand before the Lord of the earth. If anyone tries to harm them, fire comes from their mouths and devours their enemies. This is how anyone who wants to harm them must die. They have the power, the Halil or the Halil, to in the Hebrew, to shut up the heavens so that it will not rain during the time that they are prophesying, and they have the power to turn the waters into blood and strike the earth with every kind of plagues as often as they want. Right?
Is
And
that
so
Revelation?
here with
Is
this-
that Revelation? That's Revelation.
that's
Right?
Revelation 11, right before 12. This is this right here is Gemini. Honestly, these are the two witnesses. Those are the two twins. 1-1, and that 1-1 correlate that back to Isaiah 1-1. You see what I'm saying?
And these numbers do not reduce. That is a master number. 11
Come on, 11 is the. You said that earlier.
So
11 is a master number. This is how the Fibonacci sequence even begins with one.
and then
one.
I'm sorry, and I was going to say this to you real quick. For people who are asking, why is 2 so prevalent? If you're understanding the Bible through astrotheology or any story that is told in an astrotheological concept, anytime you see multiples of 3 that add up to 9,
Yes.
It's talking about enlightenment. Anytime you see multiple 3s that add up to 3, it's talking about the degrees of the sun. It's actually talking about a cast member, which is the sun in that moment. Now, 2 is very important because it represents, pay attention here, as above, so below. It is talking about something that does happen in the earth. It's
in the heavens, and it happens in the earth. Come on, Prince.
So is the Bible true?
Yes,
these things do happen. It's true in the stars, number one. So let's just say, for instance, you're talking about Jesus and Christ being crucified. Is this a truth? Absolutely. When someone becomes a Christ, when they become enlightened, naturally they speak out against things that are wrong in the world. People hate this. People turn against them, and naturally it ends horribly. Most Christs were destroyed, were crucified in whatever way, whether it was by bullet or by cross. So we know that when you become enlightened, you will begin to speak the truth. This is when you look at Jesus on the cross. You look at the foot of the cross; it's a skull there. It even says the place was called Golgotha, which is Skull Mountain, which shows that this even happens in the mind. Okay, this is why there's 2 scars put into his wrists, because it's showing you in that moment, as above, so below. We're talking about the sun here and the astrological concepts, but this is very true. If you are a person who speaks truth, you also know what it's like to be betrayed, to be judged, and not be the person that they're calling you.
Come on.
When Jesus was being judged, they could have replaced Jesus with an actual thief or murderer. They chose to put Jesus up there, a person who was actually innocent, showing you that even being innocent can get you killed. It is a great sacrifice to speak up for whatever a positive cause, because this is what it means to be a Christ. You become self-aware of things around you that are wrong, and you're more enlightened than the others around you. So you're speaking out as a means to change it, but they're not enlightened yet. So actually it offends them. And so they see you as an enemy. And so this is my life today. I awakened years ago and begin to speak truth and begin to be hated for it. You see? And since then, my name's been ran through the mud. People have tried to destroy me. I've gotten death threats, all for doing something that is actually positive. You understand? And so this is what it's like being a Christ. So it's very true, but the story in and of itself is not fact.
Didn't it say, Kevin, that
Hold on. What about a 7? What is the 7 for, though?
the 7? Yeah, go ahead.
7 symbolizes completion.
Completion.
Right.
So like say there's 7 planets, there's 7 days of the week, 7 chakras.
Right.
The moon phases are in 7 cycles.
Right.
Biblical, if you look at biblical, there's 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 spirits.
Right.
So on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath day, honor the Sabbath day or the 7th day and keep it holy. right?
Right. Perfection. Right.
So 9 is not completion, 7 is.
No, 9. I would say 7 is.
No, not 9 is
perfection.
spiritual enlightenment. 9 is spiritual enlightenment or thought or heaven. Mind is 9.
Right. Birth
But
as
seven-
well
seven
comes
is
from 9.
completion.
Right. 7 is completion or perfection. And that's
Absolutely. This is why on the seventh day God rested as it was complete. He done
6
nothing.
is good. 6 is good, but it's not perfect. That's why that's why God rested on the 6th day.
The 7th day.
Well, he rested on, from all his work that he done in 6 days. So it was
Right.
good, but it wasn't
Absolutely.
perfect.
Absolutely.
So if he had worked that 7th day, see, the 7th day is what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
This is our task. We're supposed to be creating and perfecting in the 7th day.
So if you think about what it's actually stating here, it's a story of balance. It's a
Yes.
story of you coming into connection with your divine self, the God, the 9 version of you, the spiritual version of you, and also overcoming the flesh, the 6 version of you, but both are very meaningful and powerful. So while Jesus, the man version of God, has much meaning because it's how you are active for the sake of God. How else can you teach God but to be what you teach? The only way to get something done in this world is to be about action, right? And so Jesus is God in the man. So for you to bring thought to life, you got to have your God, your spiritual thought lined up with your physical man. And the thought along with the doing is what manifests. And so this is what the duality comes together means. Thought plus the doing is what creates. You understand? That's why God created man by doing something. If you understand, God spoke light into existence. When it came time for God to create man, he took dirt, formed man, and breathed. All of these are action words, meaning to do. My biggest problem with the Bible and its teaching is that it removes people from what prayer actually is, which is doing. It's the Bible that teaches you that God is a God of speech and talking. Nowhere do you hear this concept. God does not talk in human words. It would be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The only way to talk to God, family, is by doing. So if you want something from God, to request it with your mouth is absolutely demonic. It's arbitrary.
Right.
As to want is wrong. Thou shalt not want. So
Right.
why do you want a thing? The goal is to do. So if I want a garden, why would I say, God, I want a garden? You're lying. You don't want, you do not desire a
You would
garden.
have just made it.
If you want a garden, what wanting should look like, or what wanting
You
look
would
like
have
is
just
wanting.
did it. You would have just did it.
You would plant a seed, right?
Plant the
Faith
seed.
without works is dead.
I
bro.
was going to say that. So that's right.
So
Come
so
on
watch
now.
this. So speaking you want a garden is not necessary, is it?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
So all you must do is plant the seed, right?
Right.
And so by planting the seed is how you get the harvest. So if you want to work out, if you want to get in shape, do you have to say,
Just
God,
do
help
it.
me get in shape? Or do you go work out?
You could just get down and push them up. You
So
know
this
what I
is
mean?
why I tell people prayer is doing. And what they did is they took your mind and told you to fix your problems. You got to pray. No,
You
to
gotta
fix
pray.
your problems, you got to
And-
do
and-
something about it.
And make sure that the ushers lock the door.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Say something to the sky, and God is going to do something in your favor. But that doesn't make any sense if God already has a plan for your life and everything's already been set before you. Why would God intervene to make changes for you? It would actually be to spoil you. That a good God would not intervene to change things because
Father.
God has allowed
Right.
those things to happen to adapt you, literally
Right.
to adapt you. So if I put my son underweight, right?
Mhm.
And he don't want to push, and I'm pulling all the weight. What good am I doing for my son?
Right.
The
You're not
purpose of it was to challenge him. So God has you in
You're
the test to
sparing
challenge
the
you, right?
rod. You're sparing
Right.
the rod.
So God has you in the test to challenge you, to refine you, to sharpen you, right? Why would you be able to pray that and God change that? Why? It would not make sense. So prayer is not asking for God. So you don't go to God and say, God, will you bless me with a new car? And then some prophet tells you, run around the church 10 times
10
and
times.
shout, and you will get a car. In no
make sure
way
you
does that
put
line
something
up with the
off.
word of God or the Bible or anything for that nature. God,
See, you
it
have
wouldn't be
not
fair
because you
for
have
God
not
to give
paid
you
your
that.
time.
It wouldn't be fair to God to give you a car for running around the church when other people go work hard every day for that. That would be
Come
crazy.
on. Come on.
So you cripple a people when
Oh
you
my
tell them
God,
you can access wealth, success, and all this by
you
praying.
preaching.
That is not how you do it. You only can accomplish it by doing. Think about the spider. Say the spider says to itself, I want to eat. Does that get its web? The spider has to spin its web, doesn't it?
Right.
The lion can't talk the gazelle into coming over and getting in its mouth. So the lion saying to God, help me get some food is ridiculous. You have to go, you have to hunt, you have to learn strategy. And that's what holds us back, is believing that our prayers is what sets us free. It's only when we work together and stop talking and just put the work forth. You understand? Because it doesn't matter what you believe in, what I believe in, if we shut up and do something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I promise you. And that's what I told Monica earlier. We are walking towers of Babel, because the Bible itself states if man were to join together, there's nothing they couldn't do. So to confuse their language is what stifles them. So it's in your talking that we get everything confused. We all know what we want to be. We all know we don't want to be poor. We all know we want to be free. So what does that look like? You can't do it without working together. Because if you think you're going to stack the almighty dollar and save it up to get free from someone who creates that dollar, you're literally ridiculous.
It's an illusion.
It takes 2 cents to show that image again. It takes 2 cents, family, to print each and every one of those dollars. Whether it has a 1 on it or a 100 on it, it takes 2 cents to put the ink on that bad boy. And you think that's valuable. To the person who printed that dollar, all it cost them was 2 cents to give you that dollar that cost you 7 cents to spend it. Goodness gracious.
Come on.
And you think you can save up enough money to get out of their system? You can only get out of their system with knowledge and going back to planting and hunting and chopping down the trees and building them yourself, because it don't take money to do that. It takes effort to do that. But as long as you believe you got to go to a building, sign a W-2 form, and to access money to go buy food, you will always be a hamster on the wheel. But if you understand, even the squirrel knows all it got to do is go get the nut. Pause. It does not have to sell its energy to an outside source to get money to go buy the nut. It knows it's out there. Guys, you guys are still living in the Garden of Eden. Did you know food is still free? It's right out there on the trees. But you go buy your food from the supermarket because you believe in what they have taught you. It's still free, guys.
Lord.
So look, what freedom looks like is work. It looks like getting out there and hunting and planting your own food, because if you don't do that, in a few years, they're going to shut those grocery stores down, and you're going to realize that you've been a zooed animal this whole time. You've never learned how to eat on your own. See, the zooed lion, it does not know how a real lion hunts. The zooed lion thinks that you eat by somebody tossing you a half zebra over the fence. It has no understanding of hunting. So we are domesticated people who have no clue who we naturally were. We are removed from nature through religion. I promise you guys. Survival is not about talking to a God outside of yourself. It's about inner work, understanding the God within, and knowing that if you're going to accomplish what you see in your mind, you're going to have to do something about it, man. And that's what it's all about. Whatever it is you want in life, you got to do something about it. And you'll never have it if you don't do something. So that's why my thing, and I'm going to make a shirt that says it. It's in due time. I always say it's in due time, D-O time. You will have what you desire in due time, but thou shalt not want it. When you say out loud, I want this, all you just did was created the state of wanting. See, this right here is metaphysics 101. If you want to manifest something, you do not say, I want this, because all you just said is, I want it. So you created the state of wanting it. You want to want it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So that's the state of lack, to want something. You're going to be forever in the condition of wanting it, mean you don't have it. So they say change your language. And this is where you get affirmations at, where they say, instead of saying you won't, say I have.
Right.
Right? So, or I'm becoming, I'm getting you. Not I won't, because thou shalt not want. If your action doesn't right now paint that picture, you're lying, man. And you don't lie to God. And that's our biggest problem, is we are liars. The things that we say out loud that we want, we often put no work towards it. I know musicians that never wrote a song, bro. Do you understand the problem with that?
Right. Yo, sister,
don't become a
sister
musician
Monica,
by
you need to pull up a Kojic church organ right now, because this right here, this is hallelujah time. We about to have altar call.
Hey man, I'm telling you,
Teaching right now. You're teaching.
But this is the thing that I'm talking about when I say I'll never say get rid of the Bible, because it actually teaches you this. God does not promise to heal you because you request.
Didn't it say 6 days thou shalt work, and on the seventh thou shalt rest?
But think about this. The Bible's God says this: I will not heal you until you turn from your ways. So until you turn from your ways, only then will I heal you or your land. So what this is stating is that you heal yourself, man. Watch this.
Right.
The moment that you come away from eating bad foods, your body instantly begins to heal itself.
Right.
So this is simply by removing the toxins from your body, because you're always healing you. Now think about how many people go to church praying that God heal them, but they are the ones poisoning themselves. They'll go to church and pray God heal them. Then they'll leave and go to Golden Corral and eat pork, turkey, chicken, beans.
Right after church. Right after church. Chitlins and everything downstairs with the hog mogs.
So how could God heal you if you're not even honoring his food laws? How?
Right.
You understand? So again, it's really about discipline, honoring the God body first. If you honor the God body, it will be healed. So we understand this about God, having all that he needs, born knowing all that is to be known. This is you. You are God in the flesh. We think that knowledge is education. It's not. It's internal. Here's how you know this. Who taught you how to hit puberty, brother?
Nobody.
Who taught your heart to pump blood through your veins?
Nobody.
Who taught your scars to heal? Huh.
Nobody.
Because you were born with everything that you needed. You didn't need to read a book to do this, man.
Come on.
So what you was taught is you need education, but you were born with everything you needed.
So are they teaching us the opposite way?
Absolutely.
Teaching us not to do the will of God?
Absolutely.
Hey, Deacon Zion, sing it. Come on, let it be known about this. Come on, Deacon.
Shando.
You asked me a question. Are they teaching you to do things outside of the will of God, right?
Absolutely.
Watch this. You go to a church made of dead trees and call it a place of life. Huh.
Hey.
Y'all don't
What
hear
did the Bible say about that?
Y'all don't hear
them
me.
not. If a man tells you that God is here or in this temple, believe them not. God is here.
Well, right. Now watch this. You spend your life consuming, whether that be plants or flesh. But when you die, you put yourself in a box so you don't have to take part in nature's design, which is to go back from whence you came.
Come on.
So you die going separate from God, being put in a box when you're supposed to go back to Gaia, Mother Earth.
Come on.
So are we doing things separate from God? Absolutely. Now listen, why do we allow ourselves to be put into a box? Why do we go to a church and call it a house of God?
Because it looks good.
Look, why do we believe
you got some money?
Look, why do we believe this building that's only a church based on a 501c3 is placed on holy ground?
Come on.
Why don't we understand that all ground is holy? Because everywhere something has died, and its life is just as valuable as your own. Mm-hmm. So where does holy ground end if it's under the church? At the property line?
Come on.
So are we doing things outside the word of God? I mean, the will of God? Absolutely, because we're separate from nature. When you separate yourself from nature, where else can you be but outside of the will of God?
Right. You know, the interesting thing is that when we walk onto church ground, that now we can't curse and we can't smoke a cigarette or whatever. We go in there, and then when we walk out, we do all of the wickedness because we ain't on church ground.
Absolutely, because that place for some reason is seen as holy, right?
Right.
Or you can't point at a graveyard because you're pointing at dead people.
What you wouldn't do in the church, you shouldn't do in your own life. Apparently.
Absolutely. But look, if everywhere people and animals have died, and we're literally walking on people everywhere, nowhere to step without it. This means everywhere is holy ground. This means
That's right.
everywhere I point, there is a grave, right?
Everywhere my footsteps, right?
So if
Every
you think
little
about this,
step
the
I take.
further back that you go that we were natural beings, we honored nature, man. We respected it, not just what we called a holy place. We understood it all was holy. That transaction between you hunting an animal and slaughtering it was a holy transaction. And this is why we still pray today, because here's what you understood. You had to take something's life in order for its life to sustain yours. So there was a great gratitude for that.
So we honored, yes.
Right.
We
What was
Go
just
ahead,
your
go ahead.
meal, man, was its whole life had to end so you could have your next meal. Now think about this. When you eat a seed, you eating a forest. You damn sure should be grateful.
Yo, I have an issue with that too. A lot of folks be like, "Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't eat the animals. Just eat the vegetables are living things too."
When I tell you, look, the moment that you eat a seed, here's what you just done. Here's what you just done in the moment. Let's say you eating a gang of sunflower seeds, right? Let's say you eating a gang of sunflower seeds, right? You just throw a bunch in your mouth. Each one of those seeds would have created a sunflower. Each one of those, thousands of seeds in every season for multitude of generations. So that one seed that you just ate could have been more than you could count if you would have planted it, right? So why shouldn't you be grateful for each seed, as it is in and of itself could feed millions of people if you just let it sprout, man? So this is why the people of indigenous cultures are very grateful for the plant and the animal.
For the plant and the animal. See, that's a roster. We are very, very grateful.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
Very
See,
grateful.
when you remove all of that, you have people who just eat for the sake of desire
for the
and
sake of
taste.
eating. They'll eat
Right,
anything.
for the sake of taste, it just tastes good.
And
so
then
it's like,
get mad if they found a mouse in they Chinese food.
You
right,
know,
now watch this.
or you get used to chewing. You get used to
Right.
the chewing feeling. You've gone into your animal nature in that chewing,
Gluttony.
and feeling that chewing in your the way that your teeth grind down
That's
on
gluttony.
meat and things
That's
like
gluttony.
that.
Yeah.
Now look, what I'm about to say next is something I want everybody to pay attention to, because this is going to show you why we're so unhealthy as a people. Okay, we do understand that we are electric, okay? We generate a certain degree of temperature because we are electric. If you guys understand this, we are electric. Every food that you eat has a certain hertz attached to it, a certain vibration, in simple terms, attached to it. So we're outside of the will of God when we order food from all different sides of earth to try them just for the sake of tasting them. When the hertz are off based on the natural place that you live. All throughout life, every animal, every person eats based on the geographical area that they live in. You can only hunt where you live. The only fish that you could fish are the animals that was local to you. So let's just imagine you live here, but you're eating Himalayan sea bass, okay? Its hertz is far off of your body. So what if you stopped going to Walmart and buying your food that's shipped in from everywhere and started hunting venison and fishing out of your lakes from your local area that's in your same vibration, pulling the same sun's energy from the same part of the hemisphere as you? Do you believe your body will respond better?
Then you got all these GMOs.
Same thing with the actual plants. Do you know that around your house, when the house that you live in, okay, I mean, if you live in a house, now apartments, another thing, but I know I live in a house, and it's certain things that grow around my house that actually are towards my vibration. Like I have a tree in the back that is like some kind of like a persimmon. It's persimmon tree. Persimmon helps with high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? Eating persimmons, certain like thing. Also, it was weird because I had gotten some like seeds from Walmart, and I just put all them suckers into a thing, and it created like a weed. But the weed, I looked it up itself. The weed itself actually helps with digestive issues and certain things. So certain weeds that you might think this is a weed, a dandelion, you know, all these like things that you like will have growing in your grass that you like say, well, I want my grass to be nice. Well, I'm gonna kill the weeds, right? Those are actual herbs. So yeah, let's go into it. Let's go. Yeah, man. This
It's the same thing like they teach us to put the leaves when we rake our yards, to put the leaves in the bag and throw them out. Though when you can actually make compost with it, you don't. Actually, one of the reasons why a lot of things don't grow is because folks are throwing the natural. Come on, y'all.
Right. So when we eat fruit, we just spit the seeds out wherever. So
Right.
again, if you're talking about God is constantly trying to bless you with abundance. It's trying to give you food. We say money
Right.
don't grow on trees, but that's the biggest lie ever told. If you plant your own food, it'll cut out your food bill. Don't you dare tell me money don't grow on trees, right? So you can eliminate your food bill, but we stay in debt because we're lazy, honestly.
Because we're not growing. We
don't know how to plant and take the time to care to know how to plant.
We had the opportunity to plant and make a garden, and we threw it all out just so we can go to some fast food restaurant once again. How foolish is that?
Or the supermarket, you see?
Right.
And so here's what happens. Someone put an Alaskan king crab right there. On your plate, you're going to have Alaskan king crab, and it's going to be in a seafood boil. And those potatoes are going to be from Idaho.
Right. And the corn going to be from South Carolina.
Right. The shrimp going to be from the Pacific Ocean.
And the fruit gonna be from hell. Okay.
All the alpha line is off. You know what I'm saying? You talk about your pH
So
balance.
you eating this food, you eating this food, talking about some, oh, it tastes good.
And you wonder
crazy
why your
joke.
armpits is wingy.
And so in your mind, if it tastes good, then it must be good, right?
Right.
But that's not the case because your body has to process these foods. So if a person is eating for health wise, they would look over taste. They would sacrifice taste and eat for health. And we know the two don't look the same, right? So that's why I say,
we also need to think about how we eating our food. We using forks that have that's made of aluminum. See, the Africans, we make fun of them because they eat their food, put it in. When they eat, they grab their food,
with
put it in their
hands. I live around lots of Ghanaians.
We do that sometimes as a family, and it's fun, man. It feels more communal. It's
no, because listen, you have an aluminum fork, okay? Aluminum don't belong in the body, and don't you think that if you heat up aluminum and it is heated up and you're spitting out food with
it gives off
ingesting some of that aluminum into your body?
Yes, you are. And then there's another psychological part
right.
by touching your food with your hands. It actually prepares your brain for what you are about to ingest. So when you use the injera or the fufu, you know what I'm saying, to grab up some of your food with your fingers, you know what I mean, in your right hand and your left, you know, and then with your left, according to certain folks. I don't, it doesn't. I'm left-handed, so it don't matter. But
China, Japan use chopsticks. They don't use.
Right, I got chopsticks.
Chopsticks made of wood. That's made of wood.
I made food last night for me and my son before he went to his mom's, and we ate chopsticks. You know what I mean? I put the dishes around so we could just, you know what I'm saying?
And that's fine. You can see other animals throughout nature also create tools to make things, more easily accessible. So that's fine.
Yep, absolutely.
But the thing that I was gonna call out is this. You guys are talking about eating from the table. Think about this. The things that grow in nature that seem to be designed for the human to eat, that the human has evolved to eat. And this is what people think. So people think backwards. They say God designed food for you to eat when really you evolved to eat the food that you eat.
The food.
So here's what happens. Think about this. As ferocious as a lion is, right?
Right.
Imagine it trying to peel an orange.
No, they eat the animal that ate an orange.
Just imagine it trying to peel an orange, right? So when I was in school, they would teach you how important your limbs are by having you put one arm behind your back and open up a bag of chips without using your mouth, right? And you had to find a way to use your hand to open this bag of chips. So I'm just saying, imagine a lion using his mouth to try to peel an orange, a banana, a fruit, right?
Well, how can you do that? They
don't have the tools to, right? Now, you imagine a cat doing that with its claws. It's impossible, right? But the ape and the human can simply take the banana, the orange, all these different fruit, which are made for seeming to be seemingly to be for hand animals to just peel, right?
Right.
Now look at their teeth, look at their intestines, the digestive tract.
Right.
You can see it mirrors the ape, so you can see the human's eating style would be more similar to the ape, and the ape is not completely vegan. It eats flesh too.
Yes, and you know what? Is that also an argument for should we not be so much into leafy green, but more into a fruit diet? Because if you think about a cow, right? All it does, cows and
eat
with the
leafies.
goats and stuff, they
Yeah.
just eat greens, but they have like
Leafy.
15 stomachs, like 100 stomachs,
Right.
to like process.
Right.
They throw it back up and all kind of wild stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
are we really meant to just only eat just green leaves and stuff like that? No, not necessarily either.
No.
But here's the kicker: you're not even always meant to eat green leaves. If you think about this,
Right.
there's seasons. So we have supermarkets which blind us from nature.
I want
There's
to.
a season in which where you will have to go fish because there is nothing to pick. Okay, that we're in the winter time where there's nothing growing, so you have to rely on the fish. You have to rely on the rabbit and the animals that you catch. And this is when you say thanks to God or thanks to the universe that I get to eat.
Yes.
Hey, you're regrettably doing this. It's not something that you do as
Right.
an all the time thing and year round. So at this time we eat this animal because this is where we get our nutrients from.
Right.
Okay, but then there's times
I don't
where
think we're ever meant to eat no pig though. That's where we get our parasites from. And if you guys have not done a parasite cleanse, I say you should do that. Y'all need.
Well, and genetically, pigs are too much close to us. That's like it's almost a form of cannibalism in a sense. Not that we're pigs, but there are genetically, you know what I'm saying? It's too close. It's too close to comfort.
And that's.
I'm not gonna eat no monkey either. I ain't gonna eat no monkey or no. You know what I mean?
That's where we get a lot of our like diseases from. We get like a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But think about this, guys. Here's the actual fact, though. Even though you would never eat a monkey or a pig if you are in abundance, if you were starving,
if I was starving, I would eat what I had
in front of you. And this is what happened in nature. Sometimes you may have to consume something that is bad for your body.
Right.
Okay. So there is a time where you will consume things that's bad for you. So this is why I would never tell somebody, hey, don't ever put nothing bad in your body. It's your temple. Like, no, at some point you won't have a choice. You see what I'm saying? And so we do what we must do.
I'm gonna tell you this. So the Saiyan people, okay, all they eat is meat. They just eat protein diet, nothing else. They don't even eat. I don't even think they eat vegetables. They might eat like bugs and stuff like that, and maybe a little bit of vegetables, but they eat pure protein. And they have the most leanest, healthiest bodies. When they're older, they look very young. And all they eat is meat and blood and all this other stuff. So
now think about this. How long have they been doing this? Generation after generation, right?
They are the oldest. They are the oldest civilization.
Right. So they've evolved the digestive tracts to do this because understand this. We don't all evolve unilaterally at the same time. We evolve based on what area of the equator we live on, how we eat, and practices that we have, right? So this is why you get people who culturally look different, who can consume different foods. There are people on the earth who can get stung by bees and it don't even affect them because they spent their lives hunting the honey from these bees and have developed natural defenses to its toxins, right? And so I can't think because they can do it, I naturally can too. So if you see a culture of people eating, all they eat is meat and you think, hey, I can just do that. This is a lot of times where we go wrong. And
I am blessed to make money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money making money, manifest making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. I ain't stressed, making money, money making money, money making money, money making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making money moves. Jewelry in the